Hello YouTube, Sounder Expeditions here. Welcome back to my channel. So as you can see, I have been posting videos all week and I posted all of my Sri Lanka vlogs. And I posted my Spanish update. So make sure you watch that. Make sure you watch my Spanish update because I didn't post one all last year. So I just thought I would make this video just to wrap up my Sri Lanka trip. I had wanted to go to Sri Lanka for a minute when I lived in Japan. I remember my host sister, she had spent a few months in Sri Lanka, like backpacking and stuff. And it was always, somewhere really it was always exotic to me. I know some people are offended by that word, but it was exotic to me. So I wanted to go to Sri Lanka. And I was really supposed to go to Africa, specifically Tanzania, but when I was ready to buy the tickets, it wasn't available. And you know what's so crazy? I was supposed to go a few months ago or something like that. No, a few weeks ago. And I got sick and I couldn't even go to Africa. I bought my ticket. Thankfully, insurance, refunded me, but I was supposed to be in Kenya, Tanzania, everything. It's whatever. But anyways, about Sri Lanka. So for me, when I'm going to a different location that hasn't been as traveled to, or if I'm nervous about a location, I will start with a group tour. So for going to Africa, I would do a group tour. Maybe I would go to Ghana by myself, but at least for the first time being in the continent of Africa, I wanted to do a group tour. And then same for Sri Lanka. If there's not enough information of other travelers going there, then I want to, oh my gosh, wait, hold on, let me close my window. Okay, Gucci. So if there's not enough if there's not a lot of information on somewhere, I'm going to start with a group tour, and in the future I can just go back there just hop on a plane and show up, which is what I do for most places. The vast majority of places I just show up. But anyways, I chose Gadventures and it's pretty popular. I actually met a girl on a plane a few months before, actually the year before, who she did a few Gadventures. And after she told me it was a great experience, and I wanted to try group travel because I do so much solo traveling, and I just wanted to experience, group travel, because I've done at this point every type of travel that you could think of: solo travel, study abroad, volunteering, girls trips, every type of travel I've done, immersions, all this stuff. So I've done pretty much all of them. So I wanted to try this one now, which was a group travel tour. Anyway, so I did. I think I paid $1,200. I'll put it here if it's wrong, but yeah, I think I paid $1,200. And yeah, I showed up, took the flight there. I got to ride finally Emirates. Emirates was so fancy. They gave me socks and everything like that. And yeah, so it was a great experience. I landed. I had a really great roommate. Her name is Sarah, and she's from Germany. And yeah, so overall, I would give the experience of okay, so here's the thing. I don't know if I was supposed to be doing this video about Sri Lanka or about Gadventures. So this is my first group tour. So I'm a free-spirited traveler. Even when I'm traveling with my friends, I'm all right, we're gonna plan these 5 days, and we're gonna need at least 2 of these days to be free days, so I can just do whatever I want by myself, just go wherever. I'm just someone who's I don't want to pressure anyone to do what I want to do, so I'm just gonna go where I want to go. I need space. Anyway, so yeah, so Gadventures was interesting, and it's hard for me to 100% judge Sri Lanka without being in the lens of this group travel. So anyway, so I did it, and overall I thought it was a great experience. I would 100% do Gadventures again. I would do it. I actually met a girl on the trip who did it, it was her sixth Gadventures, And her husband was also there too. And she met her husband on Gadventures. Like they met on, they were like the cutest couple. Like they were both vegan, they were both from London. They were just like politically aligned and just lifestyle aligned. And they fell in love like on a Gadventures tour. I would love to meet my boo traveling, honestly. Anyways. But yeah, so I met this girl. She did it 6 times. All right. So I'm just going to say I gave this 3 stars. 3 stars, which I think is good. 3 out of 5. I think it's decent. Or if I had to round up, I would say 3.5. And I know that Sri Lanka is going through like a lot of stuff right now. So I don't know. It doesn't seem right to like criticize like too heavily because I'm still on my social media fast. So I haven't used social media since December 2022. So it's over a year now. No, December 2021. I did use Reddit and I did use another forum. And I'll talk about that. Like, I have 5 more books to read and then my fast is over. But I'll talk about that like once my fast is over. Anyways, so here's what I didn't like. And here's what I did like. I'll just go through everything. So when it comes to Sri Lanka, okay, when it comes to Gadventures, what I didn't like is the first 3 days were awful for me. Like, I just didn't like it. One, because I just felt like a spectator. We were in the vans all the time. And we just, like, it was like, get on and get off, get on, get off. I just, it was just annoying, like, driving all the time. And then I had messaged them because I had missed my flight because of some other reason. But I wasn't able to get my flight, so I got like the next flight, and I had told them ahead of time that like to set a different taxi for me. So then like Gadventures ended up harassing me my first 3 days until I went back to support. And I was like, show me the logs, because I'm like, I told you guys, do not wait for me. I told you guys when I was coming. I told y'all when I changed it. Why are you asking me for $100, $111 or whatever? So the second that I told them I want to see the logs, everything was good and Gucci. They stopped harassing me. They're like, oh, we took care of it, yada, yada, yada. And it was annoying because every time I got off the bus, the local guy, he was like, so they're asking for the money. And I remember when they first asked me, I was like, what money are you talking about? Like, I paid, because do the thing, you can pay, like, I paid for transportation. So because apparently the day that I had booked for, the rider was already there, and then there was another person on the trip there too. So they were waiting for me, but the main office never contacted them. So they thought I was coming that day. So when I contacted the maid office and I asked for the logs, then they realized it wasn't on me, because I'm like, but I told you guys. I told them like a whole 2 days before that, not to pick me up or whatever. So anyways, I didn't like that spectator stuff. I didn't like being harassed. But what I did love is I made really good friends. That's the thing about group travels. Like, I did also, what's that thing? IVHQ. I did that for Ecuador for 2 months. And the thing that I love about those type of things is where, like, basically for IVHQ, you basically just pay for like your housing and your food, and then you volunteer like the other days. And I just loved like consistently being able to see the same people every day versus like when I backpacked through, like in 2018, I backpacked for 2.5 months to different countries, and I felt so lonely because I kept meeting people, kept making friends, and then they were gone. And then there were people who had their own friends, and I was like third wheeling and stuff like that. But here, like, I had a roommate. I would 100% do that again. And just being around people all the time and experiencing all these things with them, you're all able to share these memories with. Because I've had so many cool experiences, but like I've done them alone. So it's only me who could be like, yeah, that time, What I didn't like about Sri Lanka is, I hope this isn't getting long. It's going to be 15 minutes max. I didn't like the food. The food was not good, period, which was a shock. Complete shock, because Sri Lanka is like India almost. Like, it's off of India, so it's like their main tourists are from India. The food was like so bad. I was surprised, because Indian food is like, I would say it's my top 3 cuisines. Obviously Jamaican Caribbean food is superior. And then, Indian food is like up there in the top 3. Like, so I was thinking that they were gonna have, I don't know, everything there felt like a spin-off of someone else's culture. Like it was hard to find traditional Sri Lankan food, and we went to local restaurants too. And I would get like this watery curry looking chicken. It would be like one piece of chicken and like a bunch of other stuff, and it would all just be like regular. I'm sorry if you're Sri Lankan. I will do it again though. I will go back and do it again because I did like Ella, and Ella was gorgeous. It reminds me of Mindo, Ecuador. So yeah, I didn't also like the culture that like okay, the gender culture type thing because I realized that there was one part where me and my friends we were all like walking, me and my acquaintances, we were all like three of us went off into this restaurant like looking and stuff like that, and the way the men were acting like when we walked into places, it felt so uncomfortable. Like we walked into somewhere that looked like a pizza shop but it wasn't, and it was all men inside, and they looked like just the way that they were looking at us felt dirty and intimidating and just disgusting. I don't know how to explain it, but it seems like not the best. Like I've been in environments where I'm the only woman. Like it has nothing to do with being the only woman in there. It was the way, it was the intention behind the eyes. Like we were literally trying to like eat our food to be out quick, 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 quick. I didn't like that. Also, a lot of people were really nice to me though too, even though some people did try to scam me. It's crazy too because like the people who like host us, there was like an assistant guy of like the main dude, and he had them like normally when you're with people on the local ground, they're supposed to like watch out for you, and like when you're getting scammed, they're supposed to be like, no, no, this is the real price. But I remember I was supposed to take a tuk-tuk, and the tuk-tuk driver named some like absurd price, and the guy who was supposed to be like helping me from the spa was like, oh, he told you to pay this. And I'm just like, this is ridiculous. And then when I went to my, like, I was told it was, how much was told? I was told it was 300 peso trip, and they ended up charging me 1,000 peso trip. And that was someone at the spa who told me it's supposed to be 300. And I'm like, you're the tour guide's assistant. You're supposed to have my back. Anyways, and I remember when we were all walking, and we were in the group, and we were all like walking past, like we were doing so many hikes, and I will say this: after the third day, because at first the first 3 days I was like, yeah, I'm not coming back to Sri Lanka. Da da da. Da. No, after the third day, the hike that we did to Horton's something park literally changed. I don't want to say changed my life, but I would literally take a flight tomorrow just to go back to that beautiful place. It is literally in my top 3 most beautiful, jaw-dropping, like, places I've ever been. Like, I remember there's been very few times that I've had, like, a really breathtaking experience. Like, I remember I climbed Kilauea in Ecuador, and I remember when I got to the top and I looked down and I had a gasp because I was just like, this is stunning. And then the number one hike that I ever did was in Cuba in like 2016. And that we were scaling walls. We were doing like the craziest stuff. I couldn't swim then. And that hike to this day, like top 3. But this place, I literally felt like Narnia, like Narnia. Like there were just, it was you know, like those moments where you're just like, this is like heavenly almost. Like, this is so beautiful. Like, I want to be here longer. Like, when I think about that place, it's just so beautiful. Like, I have to go back. Like, it is so beautiful. And I would love to, I want to be like a hiker. Like, because if those places exist, like, I need to be there. And just like, I'm a slow hiker. I'll admit I'm a slow hiker. I was actually the last person in my group that came back. But I like to take my time. And it was just gorgeous, like completely gorgeous. I will go back just for the beauty stuff. Dang, did I cut off a part? I was getting to somewhere, wasn't I? Oh yeah, so we were walking with the group, and I remember this. Oh, the Sri Lankan people are all gorgeous. I will say they are all beautiful people. Anyways, I was walking, and then the guy, he didn't say this rudely. He was just like, we were all walking in the group. Oh, and mind you, there's 17 of us. I'm the only American, and the only black person, and one of two people of color. Well, there was one girl, she was half Asian, half white. So, yeah. Anyways, so I'm walking, and then the Sri Lankan guide is like, he sees me, he's like, Congo. And I'm like, no, America. And literally, like, my whole group, like, we were like, they were like, what? And I was just laughing, and we were like, all just started laughing because it was just so random. Can you just imagine just walking and then some guy, like, pointing you out and being like, Congo? And I'm like, no, no. You know, it's so funny. The same thing happened to me when I was in Japan in 2016. Like, there was this old man walking behind me near Osaka Castle. And I remember when he saw me, he was like, Africa. And I was like, no, America. And he was like, Obama. Seriously, that was like one of the funniest things ever. He was like 70 years old and he was like, Obama. And I was like, okay. So yeah, it was really like a similar thing. Like Asia is so funny because I get called like everything. Like I got called like in Indonesia, I got called like Rihanna. I got called like when I had locks, I got called like Bob Marley, Beyonce. I'll take it. I'll take it. So yeah. So so I did say Ella is gorgeous, and the beach town is gorgeous. I don't remember what the beach town is. I'll put it in the bottom. And we were their first tour after 21 months of the pandemic. So I will say that maybe it was a little bit rough for us because we were their first group in a long time. Yeah, I didn't really like being the only black person, but I will say that at this trip like changed my view of like a lot of Europeans. I try not to stereotype a lot, but like when I've traveled, I never really had an opinion of European people like from Europe, like all of them, like all their races, until I was abroad. And I don't know, they were always like bullying, like no offense, but seriously, like when I was studying as a student in Japan, like we would be talking about the most random topic, and then like the Europeans would be like talking about how stupid Americans are and about like literally like attacking us. Like I'm like, bro, chill. They're like, oh, you guys don't even know the states and da da da. Like they were so freaking immature. And then after that, I was just like, and then I remember when I was traveling like solo to Spain, I just met this woman, and she was just like stereotyping Americans, and I'm like, bro, I'm from New York. Like I've seen every single type of American. Like there isn't one thought process. Like and in the time when did I see this lady? This was in like 2018 on my backpacking trip. Back then, the U.S. was not as polarized as it is right now. Maybe right now it has some saying when she was saying how like you guys only think in like terms of like left and right. But like at the time, like being from New York, like I literally heard every single type of opinion. Like most people I knew were like moderate type of people, weren't crazy, were like regular people. And she was just going in. And I'm like, imagine being the only American, like everyone just like, and this wasn't even the only time. Like this happens like Indonesia, like meeting some, I don't want to get into this, but like Europeans, they would just be always mad cliquey, and it wouldn't even just be like white Europeans, it would be like black Europeans. Like they were all like, it was like, you know, when you try to like connect with your people, it would just be like, nope, the black Europeans think you're like below them. And I didn't even know all that until I went abroad, and I kept like experiencing that. But this trip, I think it's because most people were older and more mature. It was like the 18 to 30, the 35-year-old groups, because I don't know. I'm sorry. It's just anyways. After this trip, I liked Europeans a lot more because most of the people were like mid 20s to mid 30s, and they were all mature and normal people. And unfortunately, a lot of my experiences traveling, oh my gosh, these dogs. Fortunately, a lot of my experience traveling, when I met Europeans, they were just always like, we would be talking about like the sun, and then America would come up about how stupid America is. Like, I'm just like, bro, like, it started in Japan. I remember being like so confused. Like, why are these Belgian and Denmark kids talking about like America? Like, we're literally in a class about Japan, like Japanese history, and like it would just be some random topic, and then like imagine how I feel. Like, I'm literally in class, and I'm like, I don't think that I'm, especially that time, like when I was super like woke in college. I was like not, like 100%, like, I definitely wasn't like, oh, Team America, but like, I will admit, like, literally after all those experiences, like, every single time I came back to America, I'm just like, I just want to kiss the ground. Like, I'll be like, I'm so glad to be back in this USA because, yeah, I should have mentioned that. I should have been talking about that, but I'm sorry, y'all. I just start rambling and then like, I'm sorry. But anyways, I think I got pretty much through everything. Do I think it was worth the $1,200? $1,200? Yeah, I think it was worth the $1,200. Because I had great experiences. Actually, I spoke to this, the German girl, like Sarah. I spoke to her like 4 days ago. Like, I was able to have beautiful memories, travel a country. Like, literally, when I solo travel, I barely wake up early. Like, I'm not waking up early. Like, but when you do these group travels, they force you to do stuff. And yeah, we were able to see. I probably, if I went to Sri Lanka, probably wouldn't even have gone to that hike because we literally woke up at like 5 a.m. and then went there and all that stuff. And it's, I just think it was worth it. Like, and I don't have a strong, like, I hope this gets through. I don't really have a strong opinion on Sri Lanka because I felt far away from Sri Lankans because of this tour. We were just like literally like that stereotype, like group on the bus, off the bus, on the bus, off the bus. When you travel alone, you kind of interact more with locals, or at least I do more of that depending on the country. Like, for example, for Latin speaking countries, I stay locally as much as I can. I connect more with the people. When you're traveling alone, you can interact more with the people because you have to figure things out yourself. But like with the tour group, you're just with your tour group. So you should go to Sri Lanka just for that hike. And I missed the elephant safari, but they have a safari there as well. Anyways, oh shoot. Another thing about this tour is that they made us pay for mad things. Like, tours are supposed to have things included already in them, and we were paying for like breakfast and dinner and like different tours. I'm like, yo, why are we paying extra for this? This is $1,200. 10% service charge on everything. Yeah, that's fine. Passive tour. Drinks at all hotels. Oh, that I did like that. We had like every hotel we went to, they would like give us drinks. And that felt like super nice. That was super nice. Mamas and UFO extremely slow service, mediocre food. And there was one girl, okay, I don't want to make this seem bad, but the girl who I said who went on 6 Gadventures tours, she did say that if this was her first one, she wouldn't have done the others. So I feel so bad for saying that because like I don't want to stop tourism or people going on this tour. Like I said, we were the first group in a long time, and I want to do a lot more G Adventures tours. So I'm just gonna say that she said that. Yeah, and so when she said that, I was like, okay, I'm gonna go on more, and I thought the tour was okay. So I want to do one for like Mount Everest, Mount Kilimanjaro, all the stuff that I wouldn't do by myself. I would do like with a tour. Like I wouldn't go on a safari. Like I'll do a tour for that. Like, anyways, I put everyone loved my hair, and yeah. All right, yeah, that's pretty much all of my notes. So I hope that I didn't insult. I hope anyone didn't feel insulted by anything that I said. Like I said, I don't. I understand that I am a privileged American, and a lot of people are suffering right now in Sri Lanka. I don't want to stop tourism, But like I'm kind of a reviewer, and I feel like I have to share my experience still, like just to put it out. Two, I don't want to offend anyone with Gadventures. Like I don't want people to not lose their jobs or anything like that. Like everything was good. It was Gucci. Like I'm just being honest. Everything was good, and I understand, that people are human and everything like that. And I thought it was good. I said I would give it a 3.5. 3.5. And lastly, I hope no Europeans got offended, but I'm just being honest. That was my experience with a lot of Europeans when I traveled. Like I said, I had no opinion of Europeans. I am a lot more balanced. Obviously, I am older now, and I'm not going to stereotype people. And I have had amazing experiences in Europe. Like I've been there a bunch of times, and yeah, I really love Europe. So obviously, I'm not going to stereotype Europeans, but. Anyways, that was my experience. I hope you guys all have a great day, and thank you all for watching this video. Ciao.